Probably turn the mics on and get us going here. Thank you, everybody, for watching the Berry Beat podcast live, streaming live on 802 Scoop here from the Inside Scoop Studios, Main Street, Barrie, Vermont. With us, we have the ever lovely Raylene.
Hi.
Are you feeling lovely tonight?
And just so you know, when Michael said that, he said it with a real disgusted look in your face.
I did have a very disgusted look.
Because I've been a jerk to him since I walked through the door. I know. You know how I am. I come in here, everything's all disheveled. Chairs don't get pushed in, back into the table, like shit everywhere. It just gives me anxiety, instant. I can't help it.
So, for the record, I moved the couch over just a smidge. She moved it over.
It was not a smidge.
It was a smidge. You moved it over 4 or 5 inches at the max.
That's a lot more than a smidge when you're talking about putting it in the center of what's behind you.
But it doesn't look like it's in the center right now.
Because you moved everything.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be okay.
You're going to be okay?
Yes.
Okay. I love you. You know that.
Then why do you do this to me?
I didn't do anything. You came in you came in on the tear. I was just sitting here.
Because I came in and everything was all like a shambles. My candy dish was moved over where it doesn't belong. I don't know what to tell you about the candy dish.
I didn't touch the candy dish. I never touch your candy dish.
People get up from the table. Don't push your chairs back in. Leave them out in the middle of the floor. Who gives a shit? That I do. I know you do. It's just stuff pushed all over the place, and it drives me crazy. And you know it's going. You know it does. And so I think you get amusement out of it.
No, I try to fix things. I try to fix things because I don't want to deal with the crap that comes from it. Straight up, I try my best to fix it, and it's never good enough.
I can't help it. And it's not your fault because I got here like right on the fly.
Well,
so
I tried.
Normally I would get here a little bit early too and have time to mess with stuff, but I didn't.
Maybe what we should do is like tape the floor so that I know where things
where everything goes. Stop it.
Oh, all right.
I can't help it.
So let's just jump right into the city council packet.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's talk about the big thing.
The big one.
The big one. The Berlin Street Bridge. Man,
I really thought they would put that out to the voters. I am shocked a little bit that they're not. That just seems like such a dumbass move. I can't get past that.
Tell me how you really feel.
I really do. I feel like it's, especially if they're talking about doing Prospect Heights and just the access to the Beltline, Highgate, Berlin Street, like that whole, it just is weird to me that coming up to a dangerous intersection and backtracking down the Beltline toward Berlin Street, it just seems odd to me that you would do that.
Yeah, so for folks that don't know...
I would like to know the difference in time. I wonder if they did that. Like, literally turned their sirens on and checked the difference in time. Because a lot can happen in a minute.
That's true. That's very true. For folks that don't know, there's a plan to remove the Berlin Street Bridge. And for those that don't know which one that is, that's the one right next to
RK Miles,
RK Miles.
north end of town.
So I'm trying to find pictures of it so that people can see why they're wanting to do that. And right here,
Well, they say it's going to help with flooding, but I really thought that the state thought that the railroad trestle would take care of that, the majority of that issue.
right. So what's happening is when the water floods, the debris gets caught there, and it's causing it to jam up and to flow over.
I agree. I heard someone, I believe it was Rosemary, who said, and maybe even Charlie said it, that they should do a drawbridge and just open it during a threat of flood. Otherwise, keep it open.
I don't know if we can do that. I feel like that would be just a tad bit expensive.
Well, probably, but
So
very true, Judy. Very true.
I love Connie's comments.
What does she say?
She writes, I missed the last 3 hours of the city council meeting.
I know.
Yeah, 3 hours. That was a long
It was a long one. It was very long.
Did they pass the pilot for Down Street?
As far as I know, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's unfortunate.
think they did.
Did they at least explain whether or not it's going to cause problems?
I'm sure that, well, it depends on who you are. If you think it's going to cause problems or not.
That's a very valid point.
Some people are all, yay.
Yay!
Some people are not.
I gotta. So here's
But
what
there's
I
a couple
think.
of things that were tabled. Like, I'd have to go back in my notes. It was a long meeting. It was a very long meeting. It was almost midnight. They didn't
that's
talk about. So they didn't talk about the pilot. That's right. So they tabled that. I knew they did. They tabled a couple of things.
Okay, yeah, I'm not seeing any decisions on that, so they must have tabled that, which is good because I think there's some, tax implication issues.
Right, which you
They
had
didn't-
talked about
and
last
Judy-
time that they hadn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Judy
With Down Street.
states that
That's
they
right. Yep.
they didn't talk about it. Well, I'm kind of glad about that because there's some. My concern is that we're going to end up passing the buck on the education portion to everybody in the city, and
Right.
as we're doing like buyouts for folks, probably don't want to add more tax, pain
No,
to
definitely not.
people.
People can't afford it. They
right
can't
now.
deal with it.
Yeah, that would not be good. So yeah, they're going to be talking about, apparently they're going to do an application to remove the Berlin Street Bridge. And I'll be honest with you, the fact that it clogs up like that, maybe if the riverbed was just a little bit lower.
Deeper. Like it once was,
Like
right?
it once was.
Or even just to put a little hump in the middle or something.
Yeah.
I mean,
how long has that bridge been there? I mean, that bridge has been there for.
they did, I believe they reconstructed it at one point because I thought that when I was young, which was a very long time ago, I almost thought that one was also a singing bridge. Wasn't Berlin Street
No, that's
the one next to it, Blackwell and Gusto's though? The one up by Gusto's? on Prospect?
Gusto's.
I thought all three of them were.
I don't think the one on Berlin Street was. I have not responded to your letter, Judy, so I do apologize for that. but I wouldn't. Oh, so Judy says it used to be metal as well. I can't remember.
I thought it was. I'm pretty sure because I was petrified of them when I was little. I did not like walking over them.
Yeah. I remember the one by Gusto's, Prospect Street, and the one by Blackwell also was a metal bridge.
Yep.
And maybe we should go back to that.
Right.
You know, this way the water can like flow, you know, freely through there. But yeah, man, my problem is for folks that don't
Well, and
really,
then you can put a little arch to it a lot easier if it's
that's
metal
true.
than trying to, construct all this
True,
steel and
true.
pavement and everything else. You can put a little arch to it even.
But
I don't think it would have to be much.
The thing that I'm not sure is being taken into consideration is one, we've got a whole bunch of development up on Beckley Street, and all that traffic comes down, and it's not taking a left. It's
Right.
taking a right to go up Berlin
Berlin
Street.
Street to get onto the Beltline. Yeah.
Yeah, and with that not there, that means people are going to take a left,
And
and they're not going to be able to take a left, so they're going to. It's going to queue up, and it's going to queue up past the Moutois. So what people are going to end up doing is they're going to start taking the side streets, which is Pleasant
up
Street,
and over.
or they might start taking Perrin Street as well to bypass the intersection down there. I mean, I know I will.
Yep.
I'll start driving up Pleasant Street, and I can tell you, the people that were not happy about it
During the flood.
during the
Right,
flood, they're going to
detours.
be doing it again, and I don't know. It would be. I'm surprised that. I shouldn't say I'm surprised because the issue is I don't think people know that this is
Right.
coming unless I'm reading it wrong.
And the thing,
Am I reading it wrong?
I don't think so. I don't think you're reading it wrong.
Because
And the thing is if we just think about the cluster of problems they've had with the traffic, with West Patterson closed, and what that has caused on the south end,
yep.
with the schools and the the drop-offs and this, that, and the other, it just that so you're literally going to put a cluster on both ends of town because you have all the people that are coming off of Willie Street, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th Street are going to come this way.
Yeah.
And then all the people off of Beckley and the side streets. I can just only imagine the cluster. Never mind the fact, the emergency vehicle situation. For me, it's about that emergency services getting to where they need to go without a lot of extra time.
Linda is saying both RK Miles intersection and the Beckley intersection are horrible, and that's 100% true. And Paul says they used to dredge in the 70s, and that's correct as well.
Of course they did.
Connie's saying there was a period of time when you could not turn left from North Main onto Berlin. It didn't last. Well, so funny you mentioned that because I think the island there is specifically designed so that you don't turn left. That's what I think, but nobody pays attention to it. I mean,
Well,
I
and there's
turn
no
left
sign
on
that
it all
says
the time.
don't turn left.
Correct, and I think Connie's correct. I think there was a sign there, and I can tell you I didn't pay attention to it because
Yeah.
I don't remember, it. I'm such a bad person.
Well, not really, but
Yeah, it's
the
not.
way we went our whole lives.
Oh, and Judy says that it was Richardson Road that said you couldn't turn left, and I think I remember that too. But that's a dangerous intersection to turn left on anyway. It's the reason
Is she
why.
saying Richardson Road couldn't turn left too, or is she just saying Richardson Road people that
Oh.
need that turn
oh,
as
okay,
well,
yeah,
adding them to
oh,
the list
yes.
of neighborhoods?
Yes, that's true. But that's also part of Beckley as well.
Right.
Because they intersect up there now.
Right, they do now.
Yeah, we found that out during the flood.
Yes, we did.
Which
Also
I'm
a detour
sure-
that
also a
was
detour
not,
well received.
well received
Which
by
is
many
understandable.
people.
But
Well,
we
because
really
people
do
were
appreciate.
driving horribly fast through those neighborhoods.
Correct. We do. I mean, people, super appreciative to the people that allowed it to happen, right? Because we needed that detour, and everybody, although it was a frustration, people understood.
Right.
But yeah, I'm sure that the people on Pleasant Street will not be pleasantly surprised about the fact that
Right, they're not gonna be
they're-
happy.
No, they're not. It's
Yeah.
just, we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. We should shut down the bridge. Well, we did shut it down for a while there after the flood.
A very short while, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After the last flood, it was shut down for
But
about a week or two.
but we really didn't get a lot of info from that because really the whole north end was shut down. And
That's true.
so no one was really moving and everybody was under devastation. It wasn't normal traffic situations and normal things happening at the time. And now we're all moving again. It's kind of like COVID. We're all moving again.
Yeah, we're all moving
And now
around.
we're trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. I think it's a dumbass move.
You're correct, Judy. And of course, I mean, one of the projects that they're talking about is to replace the Willie Street Bridge, which, that obviously that's, I don't have a problem with that because it needs to happen, right? And then they expand the floodplain for the Scampini area in 572 North Main Street. Do you remember where that is?
Is that where Ayers is?
I feel like that's. Let me double check. I can check that. I apologize, folks. I was not prepared for this. 572 North Main Street, Barre, Vermont. That is. Yes, the Ayers building
Air
area
Auto. Yep.
to make that more of a floodplain down there. And then, of course, the removal of the trestle. That's on the docket for tomorrow night to have a MOU on that. It's a detailed
And there
memo.
was a great meeting last year about that. The state came and they gave all of the different options for the trestle. Rosemary and I went to that. It was actually a really good meeting. It was really informative and all of the different scenarios. And I really thought that that's where they would go with it and leave the Berlin Street Bridge alone and not do both. To just see how everything went with just one of the projects done. Especially when we need so much money right now for so many things.
Yeah.
Like, can we do one project at a time and not do it all at once and create total havoc?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the argument is that the bridge causes flooding, and the people that are down there obviously don't want it to flood anymore.
But if the water could move differently and better, would it?
Well, the water would move a hell of a lot better if we dredged down there.
Yeah. And maybe if we get rid of the trestle so it's not backing up there and holding water back. If the water could actually move and flow better, then maybe that wouldn't happen.
Judy says move the tracks closer to the main street and make the bridge bigger. I would agree with that too. I mean, honestly.
But then you're fighting with the railroad, and
Oh,
that
well, yeah.
never
That's not
goes
gonna
well.
work.
I mean, they won't let. They have all kinds of debris.
Yeah.
What is it behind the credit union, Domino's?
Yeah.
Behind that area by Capstone, there's all kinds of debris out there, and they won't even allow the city to remove all the debris, and they're not removing it. Like, it's junk. Get rid of it. But no.
No. Unfortunately, the railroads have an outsized amount of power within our country, and that's because of the days when they were, the big.
Right,
the
the
big
only form
kahunas.
of moving stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not anymore. Nobody ever uses the trains.
Right. So maybe, is there any way that we can get somebody in government to fix that debacle?
Could just go down there and remove it and then, oh no, it's gone. What happened?
Yeah.
That would be funny.
In the night.
We should get a group together and just do it.
But we talked about that at one point, though. We talked about that,
Just
and then we
doing
were
it?
told that, that we absolutely could not do such a thing. It's like a federal crime.
Who's going to snitch?
I know.
You could just do it. It's not like they got cameras down there.
There's cameras everywhere. On every business, just about. I'm sure Capstone has cameras. I can almost
10
guarantee
bucks.
it.
I can almost guarantee that if a bunch of us went down there and removed that stuff,
Yeah.
I bet you Capstone would be like, "Oh, our feed went out."
Yeah, darn. Yeah. I mean, it's dangerous too, and it's
It is.
disgusting. You know, it's full of toxic chemicals and God
Yeah.
knows what else. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
But the trestle going is definitely a good thing.
Yeah,
Although,
I
have you
agree.
ever did you ever walk on it as a kid?
No,
You know, about
absolutely
50,
not.
60,
I was
70
afraid
years
of the
ago?
bridge and the metal bridge, and you think that I'm going to walk on the trestle? Absolutely not. No.
You missed my snarky comment.
What? Back in
Back,
the
back in the
day?
60s and
70s.
70s or 50s and
70s,
40s.
asshole. 70s. I agree with Jerry. He says green up day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oops.
Oops.
The residents didn't know
Oops.
they weren't supposed to do that. Oops. Yeah.
That's one way to do
I
it.
agree. Get rid of that stuff.
So yeah, remove the trestle, remove the bridges. Well, not the bridges. We're also going to get an update on the Granite Museum, which they're asking, and unfortunately I don't see it in here. It looks like they're going to be asking for the council to put a ballot item on for funding for the Granite Museum, which no, got to get that petition. What do you think?
Yeah. Oh, because they didn't get their petition in?
So I don't think they even did a petition.
Oh.
That would be my guess.
And that's not you're supposed to.
Correct.
Everybody's supposed to get a petition.
Correct. And it's I think it's 600 signatures. So I know that Rainbow Bridge came in with, they had done it
Last year though.
Yeah.
And it was because of the flooding they
It was
didn't get
because
all of their
well,
signatures.
no, it's because
right?
we changed the date.
Oh yes, to May.
So they came in and asked for an exception on it, and the city council made an exception on Rainbow Bridge, which they'll be part of the big package of different charities that.
Right, they're all under one vote, one yes or no.
Right.
And boy, I've gotten a lot of heat about that over the last couple of weeks via Messenger. As you know, for some reason, people send us messages like we can somehow voodoo something to happen the right way. I don't know, but but we can't. I promise you. But they talked about it at the council meeting, breaking them up as opposed to lumping them all into one, because there are people that are very passionate about that they want to give to some, but not all. And they want to be able to vote one at a time. And if they can't, they say they're just going to vote no across the board. And I know that Michael Deering also brought that up because he was hearing the same thing. And, you know, if I went through and counted the messages that came in and the comments of people that wrote in about it, I would say probably right around between 40 and 45 messages that have said, we're just going to vote no then.
Yeah.
But that's a lot.
Well, I get
when
that.
you 45 votes is actually a lot of votes when you consider how many people actually come out to vote.
Right.
So to jeopardize everyone just seems like, could we just break it up? But they already voted to lump them into one, so it doesn't matter. It's going to happen that way.
Right.
And we'll just see how it how it goes.
I think so. Originally, it was to make it so that they were only on one ballot because we had the school. Now, I think it can fit all on there, so we probably should break that up. And it was a decision. I was on council when we made that decision, and that was probably one of the worst decisions I've ever made. Because a lot of people hate the fact that it's still in that that grouping. And I'll be quite frank with you, I have the same problem with it. And yeah, no, I will probably be voting no on that as well because I can't make any decisions on voting no on things. I mean,
Right.
especially like,
There are some
there
things
was,
that you really want to give to, and
oh
other
yeah,
things that you're like, no, I just don't have the money for that this year,
yeah,
and I'm not going to.
yep.
Yeah.
And Connie says used to pass also. They did always pass. I think things have changed a bit in the last couple of years where people are feeling a little bit more of the pinch. And I think they're probably not as willing to give money to things. That would be my guess. But
And
maybe
then
I'm wrong.
Judy says, are they still going to have Berry partnership in the BADC and the general fund for what they
So
asked for?
they currently, as of right now, the BADC is still in there. The Berry Partnership is still in there. BADC is getting a cut, I think. And this is in the budget of I think $7,000. If you give me 1 minute here, I can tell you exactly because it was in the packet, and it says. BADC to last year's amount, recommend making the funding contingent on hiring an executive director, so 7,000 decreased. Berry Partnership's getting a $2,000 increase, and the Aldrich Library's getting a $16,000 increase, which everybody knows that
Berrytown voted
didn't.
against that, yes.
Yeah, they voted against the increase. And I'll say this. You know, I get the desire to like, you know, pistol whip Berrytown for that. It's not the wisest decision because you come
No.
back next year and you won't have any funding.
Right,
Because
exactly.
that's how Berrytown.
Well, and
I mean,
I read it, and I understand the frustration, and I understand that you need to get this funding and find this money somehow. So, but it didn't need to be projected quite the way it was.
yeah. I mean, I didn't pay
Especially
attention.
not if you're asking for money.
Yeah. I will. I was when I saw the clip and the comment that was made because I
Yeah.
think the Aldrich Library actually made the comment,
They
right?
made that whole post.
Yeah, I would not have. I would have strongly encouraged to just say, take the hit this year, and try next year, or ask to be put on the ballot, which, you know, in the years past when Aldrich Library did not get additional funding, they asked for it to be as a ballot item, and they always they always won. So it's, you know, I don't know. You know, the city and the town are considerably different, and that's not how you address. You just don't do that with the
Yeah,
town.
definitely not.
You just don't do that. It's not the best decision, but it wasn't my decision. But anyway, so
Well.
yeah, so they're getting an increase of $16,000 in the city, which I've heard that they're in like desperate need of money. Is that correct? Aren't they like they're really struggling
I
financially?
believe so, yes.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, the library business is tough business anyway, especially in our digital age. And, you know, I'm a firm believer in repository of books and knowledge because there may be a time when we don't have access to the internet, like the streaming and everything. We're going to have to be doing this in the town hall, right? Because it could happen that way.
Right, and they do have the small library in East Barry, but I believe that's just like a sub-library of the Aldrich, right? Isn't it a part of the Aldrich?
It's a sub.
Yeah.
I don't know the whole. I don't know enough about this topic to speak intelligently.
Yeah.
So Linda, the library said that half of the usage is from the town.
Yeah, I'm sure they can tell just by like library cards.
Yeah, library cards. Yeah. I mean, I don't generally go a lot to the library. When I go, it's usually for like the historical stuff for Berry City. They have a plethora of historical books, especially on Berry City. You'd be surprised, and it's really awesome. It's definitely awesome, and they did have a fundraising event recently.
They didn't do their trees this year. Usually at the library, every year you can decorate the trees and they auction them off. They didn't do that this year. Where
know.
different places decorate the trees and put them in the library. I think it's called Light Up the Library. And they didn't do that this year.
Yeah. Connie's asking if they still get money for the homeless. I don't think they ever did from the state. They got it from the city to be a warming shelter, but I don't think they ever get any money for that. I might be wrong because I don't really know enough about it. Judy says they did. So okay, or no, Judy's saying that they did for the trees, but I don't know if they got money for the homeless from the state. Everybody's saying they did, but I think they're saying they did for the trees.
Right, I didn't see it this year. Usually we advertise the snot out of that. I guess I was not very paying attention.
So it looks like, as we talk about the budget, because we're talking about, the increases for the libraries and the total, the general fund budget, according to the budget information in the packet, is $14,809,000, $809,120. So we're looking at a projected tax rate increase of about 5.82%, which the thing that people got to understand is that seems really high, and it is, right? Like, of course it's high, but we're, the city's losing grand list value. It's not. It's a real problem.
Right.
And eventually, especially as we start talking about these floodplain reclaims, every single time FEMA purchases a piece of property, that comes off the grand list forever.
Right. Can't do anything with it. But they're working on trying to change that as well, right? They're trying to really work with FEMA, aren't they? Trying to make that a change. I've heard that discussed so that it doesn't have to be that way if it's brought back flood resilient, or not every property, but some properties.
I'm not sure. I
think
think
we're really trying to work on that.
I think they should just give the money to the city and they can deal with it instead of the other, the way that they do it. Lori is asking if everyone votes no. So the library is not in that
right?
group.
It's separate.
The library is actually embedded in the budget. It's not in that large grouping of community needs.
But I agree with what she's saying as far as the problem with voting no is cutting off our nose to spite our faces.
I know.
And that's true. What she's saying is very true.
Right.
And it's unfortunate that will happen.
Yep. Because there's some really good there's some really good charities in there that are getting it. And they removed Green Mountain Transit out of there, which certainly is given the recent reductions and stuff. But I can actually read off the list. I think I have the list here if folks want. If you just give me a minute.
And while you're
doing
that, I can. Joy Marie Whitehouse says, I can't pay a tax increase because my extra money is going to have to go to fix my car from the horrible road condition on Smith Street. And we know they talked about that at council too, how absolutely horrendous the road conditions are right now. Everybody's complaining, from city manager to the mayor to just citizens everywhere, all over. And it's throughout the entire state. I've been to Williamstown, Northfield, Plainfield. I was up north towards Hardwick and Woodbury area. It's that way. We've taken some pretty significant hits, money-wise and flood recovery-wise, and hopefully getting back on those paving schedules, which they have said they will do, get back on those schedules. And there's a huge list of paving projects for this season, and I believe they listed it at the last council meeting. I believe Nicholas said which streets, and I think it's also posted on the city website.
And you know the
I agree. We'll swallow a small car.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll say with regards to the roads being so bad, a part of that is the time of year and the two floods, of course, also, but not all places, right? And as Hillary points out,
Yeah, they're not
the
open.
asphalt companies they're not open. The plants are not open yet. But as it starts warming up, we'll start seeing those potholes diminish.
And then the main road, I mean, there are a lot of side streets. Yes, the side streets are just as horrible and need air streets, absolutely insane. Um, but also explained was a lot of the city is state road.
Right.
And
Yeah.
like on the north end, they have fixed it once. They plan to, fix it again. But that came out of the city's pocket because
Yep.
the state has
Well-
it's not planned to fix that until 2027.
Right, on the south end.
Right, on the
Yep.
south end. Yeah,
Yep.
on the south
The north end, the state did fix for
Right,
us.
on the south end. It was by Cumberland Farms and
Just-
the Northfield Savings Bank and all of that. Yeah.
So after our first flood, our current mayor,
Made that happen.
who was the city councilor at the time, busted his ass
Yeah, to get the north end
the north
done.
end.
Yep.
So that's something that a city councilor at the time did to get the north end fixed for us. And
Yeah.
Tom is just amazing.
And
so,
I say just let's get rid of the pavement and because the grader is
so much
you
easier.
can use it year round.
Think of all the dust that's going to be kicked up with that. That would be awful.
Right,
That
but
would be
which do you
awful.
want? Do you want? Then you can put sand down instead of salt on the road that is shitty on your vehicle, and we could have. I mean, really? Wow! Somebody's gonna whine no matter what.
I'm gonna say no to the
Yeah.
dirt roads.
See, you want the pavement, but with the pavement comes a whole lot of work, money, and problems.
Let me read off the list of the different entities that are on there. You got the Barry Area Senior Center, 7,500. Barry Partnership, 5,000. Capstone Community Action, 3,000. Central Vermont Adult Education, 7,700. Central Vermont Council on Aging, 18,000. Central Vermont Home Health and Hospice, 28,000. Circle, 2,000. Community Harvest of Central Vermont, 1,500. Elevate Youth Services, 5,000. Family Center of Washington County, 3,500. Good Samaritan Haven, 1,500. Mosaic, 2,500. Our House of Central Vermont, $500. People's Health and Wellness Clinic, 3,000. Rainbow Bridge Community Center, 3,000. Vermont Association for Blind and Visually Impaired, 1,000. Washington County Diversion Program, 2,500, and Washington County Mental Health, 10,000. Grand
Circle of
total
Vermont isn't on there.
Circle is,
Oh, I didn't hear you say circle.
sorry,
Okay.
Circle, yep.
Yep.
Circle, 2,000, yep. Yeah, chip seal is like pavement, but cap can be graded. Yeah,
Yeah.
the dust.
Do it to it.
I'm gonna say the dust.
Well,
I
that
don't know
chip
what-
seal probably doesn't have dust or
I don't-
whatever,
I'm
but
not familiar with chip seal.
you would live with the dust.
True, probably. I wouldn't have to. I live up in the area that wouldn't have the dust. It's dusty. Dusty.
Wine.
Dusty. Yeah, another thing that they're going to be talking about is an application to increase the debris rack on Harrington Avenue. So for folks that don't know, there's the debris. Well, most people know,
Trash
but there's
racks.
we call them the trash racks,
Yep.
right? It collects all the stuff and all the debris from the trees and everything else. And they're buying out a couple of the buildings next to that, and they're going to be increasing the size of the debris racks. In fact, I can show a cute little graphic here. We'll just push
Which
this
is
right
great.
on over. Yeah. So the greenhouses, those are up for FEMA buyout. And as you can see, the current trash rack is right there. And I almost think this is my, I think this is my drone footage. I feel like this is. I don't know for certain, but I think it is. Maybe not. I don't know. But it probably not if this is, I don't know. But anyway, point is that those buildings are going to be bought and it's going to turn this into more of a floodplain area, which will certainly be nice.
Yes.
But yeah, most definitely will be expanding the debris racks, which is pretty. That's pretty big right
Yeah,
there.
it's a pretty big area.
Yeah.
For sure.
Very big.
But also
that'll
talked
be-
at council was, what's above us does have to come down, and
Yep.
so having these sorts of things and working together to make these things happen is really important.
Yep. And here's another picture that
Dustin Comstock says when the municipality moves into their new building, they should be able to store coal patch and asphalt at room temperature in one day. A lot of towns and cities used to do that.
okay.
So
that'll
that's
be nice.
interesting. Yep.
That'll definitely be nice, and they'll
I mean,
have
and
that.
that's what he does for a living, is pave. So he must, know all of those things, because that's what he does. He also
That's-
keeps this driveway out here plowed.
Oh, does he?
Yes, he does the parking lot here.
Oh.
Yeah, and anything else that, he was a really nice guy and helped with this huge chunk of ice that was out back this winter. Yeah.
So then, of course, there'll be the legislative update, which will be Teddy and I. I don't know. There's not really much to say, and I'm sure the minute I start getting into the voucher program, people are going to be like,
Oh, on you?
Yeah.
I know. You've taken it pretty hard.
taking it on the chin a bit.
People have been pretty brutal about that, but you also have a lot of support, and
Well-
so does Phil Scott. It comes from,
Yeah.
comes from both sides, and with that, for sure.
I mean, at the end of the day, I was very upfront in every conversation that I had. Anytime we talked about the voucher program, I was like, I'm done.
Yep.
And you're right. They're going to call me cold-hearted, and
Yep, they
I get
are.
it.
And murderer and anything
Murderer
else
and
they
everything.
can think of.
But
I've been shocked at some of the
I know
stuff,
some
but
of the stuff has been pretty raunchy.
it's been pretty brutal. But
Like I said, and I went back, I looked at my webpage. It clearly stated, I do not support the voucher program.
yeah, I think
and
it said it on
don't.
your postcard.
And no, it didn't say it on my postcard. I
It
checked.
wasn't one of your
I don't think so.
items. I thought
No,
it was on one of you. I thought it was on your second one.
It might have been on something else, but at the end of the day, like I said, the
Yeah.
problem is, that program started out at a $5 million program, and I remember people using that program and $5 million for that's helping the people that need it, right? Families, people with severe disabilities, which is what Scott wants. Phil Scott wants that, and he wants to help families. He wants to help people with severe disabilities. But we got people that come out of the criminal justice system, justice system, and they're applying for the voucher program. And, I'm sorry, but you selling crack like a month ago, and you're coming out and going into the hotel.
Right, so that you can sell crack again.
I don't think
on
so.
the state's dime.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
because that's what's happening.
So, that's my biggest
And those
issue.
are the people that we don't want in the hotel programs. We don't want to pay for it. And it's unfortunate that the people that are going to be suffering because they are taking that spot.
Well,
and
they,
Phil Scott
but they
doesn't
should
want
not
that.
be allowed, and
They
that's
shouldn't
the
be,
thing
correct.
You go in there, it's fine.
Yeah,
If you
and
come out of,
Hillary says it's 45
yeah,
million now,
if you
which is
come out
scary.
of jail, if you come out of prison and you go in the voucher program, and you get a job and you start doing what you're supposed to do to rebuild your life, and that's one thing. But if you come out and you start selling fentanyl laced crack and cocaine and God knows what else out of your hotel room, and you're gone,
Yeah.
period. And the same with the Highgate, with Green Acres, with any of the subsidized housing, Berry Manor, Washington Apartments, Jefferson Apartments, I don't care. If you are doing that stuff and you're housing, especially if you're housing people from out of state and you're getting busted over and over and arrested over and over, you're out.
Yeah.
Give it to somebody who's on the wait list that's a single mom with a couple of kids, or even a young family who was flooded out and just needs a leg up. Give it to them.
Linda makes a very good point. We also have people getting put into the hotel program that can't care for themselves and
Yeah.
should be in a nursing home
Yeah,
or assisted care
exactly.
facility.
Well,
And
that
you're
was the
100%
instance
accurate.
the other night that I said to you, a scenario was given or a question was put out. I don't remember if it was to you or who it was, but about a certain individual who was older and widowed and disabled. And that's what I said. What about assisted living or nursing home or home share? I mean, there are many circumstances in which Vermont Comforts from Home, which is specifically set up for that kind of care. It's for elderly people that can live with a home provider. So there are situations for sure, and there are programs for those situations. This isn't the program.
No.
And this program should be used for the people that truly need it, truly want it, people that, they need to do some more vetting and especially more vetting for a lot more services as well.
And then finally, the last thing that I'm going to bring up for the city council packet is the seminary. Well, it's a housing project update, and I'll just show the picture of what we got going on for possibilities. There's the Wabi Park 4 to 5 share equity homes. Then you've got North End Gateway, which that's not sure that's going to come to fruition with our current council. We need a change. But then there's the Seminary Street apartments, 143 North Main Street, which is BADC, the building, the old JJ Newberry's. Prospect Heights is in the list of things. And then here's the design plans for the Seminary Street apartments. So, I mean, this is pretty cool looking. I mean, that's going to be a huge building. I hope that it's fully taxed because we certainly need the grand value list amount, which, I got to stop going up and down on it. You look there, you see the parking lot's nicely laid out, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stories, which that's going to add a lot of housing, which we certainly
it's
need.
mixed use housing, so right, it's mixed.
Correct. It's supposed to be a little bit of everything. So that's going to be pretty cool. That'll definitely be something that folks will want to tune in for an update on. At least I think, that's going to be pretty awesome. So that being said, I don't think there's anything of too much excitement. We kind of talked about
in elections. I mean, we know that in May, we will be voting for, speaking of change, since you brought it up, we have, there's some seats available. There's some people are running for, we know that Jeff Bergeron is running for Ward 2. He's in there right now as interim. Is that what you call it? what do you call it, interim?
Well, he's filling out Teddy's spot. Yep.
Right, he's filling the rest of the obligation for Teddy, but Teddy's seat was up. Amel Chambel and Sam Stockwell are also, their seats are up for re-election. So we have some upcoming elections right here for city councilors, and hopefully we're going to be able to do some interviews. My guess is we'll only do 3, but you never know. You never know. We may do 6, but my guess is that we'll do 3, and that's fine. I mean, whatever. Yeah. Hopefully, Steve Pappas will do some sort of forum like he's been doing. Those have been really great, and get those out there for people that are running, and people are right now should be getting their signatures and getting set to say yes, we're going to run, and we should start hearing about that pretty soon. Who's doing what? So, yeah.
And there was a comment made about the fire truck. The fire truck does have a large ladder on it, so it certainly would be able to handle the 5 stories. And Judy said that it handles 11 stories with the Northbury Manor, which I think obviously her son works for the fire department, but
she's got the inside.
She's got the inside scoop. Yeah,
that's right. You don't mess with Judy.
I would never do that. But yeah, I think although I'm not sure if it goes all the way to the top. I don't know how far up the ladder goes. So if there's somebody in the fire department that's watching, just drop a comment below to say if it does go all the way to the top. Because I think it's close, but I don't know if it's all the way. But I might be wrong. I won't argue with Judy. I'll just say that Judy's correct.
Nice.
Then, of course, we have a special school board meeting on Thursday. We're going to be talking about, there's a lot of executive session stuff that we're going to be talking about, which I won't be telling you.
Okay, then.
But we will talk about the FY26 calendar, and we'll also talk about the BCEMS stormwater project. So there is because it's over 3 acres of impervious land, we have to have the stormwater work done, and that's going to cost about $45,000 from us. It's 46,000 or maybe 47, I can't remember, but the total project's like 470, something like that. But we're getting a grant for most of it, and there was a sinkhole. I guess there was a sinkhole up at the Berry Elementary School area.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's not the first time.
I did not hear that.
Yeah, we had a sinkhole back in 2011 as well, and it was, I think at that time they had the entryway onto Allen Street. Oh, it was Berrytown Elementary School? Oh, oops, I thought it was Berry City Elementary School. Oh, Heather says it's Berrytown Elementary School, so.
With the sinkhole?
Yeah, or maybe she's saying that the stormwater is for Berrytown. I thought it was Berry City.
I don't know.
Well,
you better brush up.
I'm obviously not given the right information. I do apologize, folks.
You better brush up and get ready for Thursday.
I know. All right.
He's just a tired boy. So a couple things I want to mention. Can I mention these things even though they're not related to this kind of stuff? Or are you done the school board stuff?
Yeah. Okay, so Alice agrees with me. It was a Berry City in the front yard. That's what I thought. So the sinkhole was in Berry City, which is not the first time. Like I said, in 2011, the road actually had a sinkhole.
Oh,
and
wow.
It closed down the road going up. But they did some, I mean, they just filled it in to fix it, but they did like dye and a whole bunch of other things
just to make sure that
try to find out where it came from or where it was going, and they weren't able to ever figure it out. Let's see. So one thing I really wish the school board would look into is reversing the start time So Berry City goes first. That way Berry Town would have time to clear the roads, as before the schools joined with one busing, we did not have cancellations that we see now.
It makes sense. And I said that to you last year, and it would make the traffic much better. If I think the traffic problem to the elementary school, if it was reversed and even a 15-minute difference even,
Something to think about.
I think that it would really help with the traffic and the cluster at the bottom of Corey Hill, and then again on South Main, and to get through the light by Air Street. And I think that I agree. Whoever said that. Yeah.
And Heather was just clarifying that she did mean BCEMS.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What do you got?
So I just want to say that we were asked to do something. I'm super honored to do this. We were asked to do this by Sam Fisk has asked us if we would be a part of honoring his son, Chris Fisk, who passed away last year. And we are going to be a part of promoting and every part that we possibly can. I'm diving in as deep as I can. I'm going to help with create the posters. I'm almost done, but I'm so picky about it that I have done it like 10 times today because I want it to be just perfect. It's going to be the first annual Highway to Heart ride in honor of Chris Fisk. And it's not going to happen until July of 2025. Of course, July 19th is when it's happening. But July sounds like that it's that far away, but it's really not. It's like tomorrow when it comes to planning these things. And we really want this to be a good first year. People from all over to come. But it's going to happen at the Den in Williamstown. We'll keep filling you in on all the information. We're going to have his dad, Chris's dad, Sam, has marked out the route, and just lots of great things going on for that. And I'm super honored that we were asked to be a part of this. And it's a really big deal to me that we get to do this. And yeah, so that's a lot. And this Sunday we will be doing the Brittany Burt Memorial Scholarship Bingo at the Den. We'll be there this weekend. So come on Sunday. Hillary's coming. She's going to come play bingo with us. And so I'm super excited about that too. That's happening this Sunday at the Den. And last year was just a killer. I mean, we did amazing. So please join us. It is going to be from 1 to 5 at the Den. Bars open, kitchen's open, but the people that put on the function do sell some snacks and things like that too. So, and then we need a guest. We need to take a guess. But so I have to tell and one more thing though. We are having a contest right now on 802 Scoop. And as I'm not sure if you all remember, but last week I had posted an add a positive word to the jar. And so everybody that adds a positive word between now and the end of the month, I'm going to add it to the wheel. And on April 1st, no joke, on April 1st, I will be drawing for a winner. And the winner gets to choose $50 at the Meltdown, Tasty Bites, or Campi di Vino. So the winner will get their choice of a gift card to one of those local restaurants. And all right, and a guess. Another clue for who is going to be my co-host at 4 o'clock Monday through Thursday. So it's so hard to do this without giving it away. Like really hard. But political family. That's what I'll say.
Ooh, political
A
family.
family of politicians.
Ooh. Family of politicians.
Or maybe not all, like the whole family.
At least
but
two.
Yeah,
At least two.
at least two. So a family of politicians. Yeah. And so, and I don't know, you have to remember all the other guesses as well. But I had some really good guesses last week. Somebody thought Tom Lozon. Tom has gotten a few votes that people thought that he was going to co-host. And then I have gotten Michael Deering and a few others too that people thought. But nope, all of those guesses so far have been wrong. No one has gotten it. So if you think you got it, go ahead, message me or 802 Scoop with your guess. And again, we'll start that on the 31st. We will start the very first. There's everyday show. We'll be here Monday through Thursday, 4 o'clock. Yeah, table talk.
So, before we go, I do want to. We lost someone yesterday. Someone that was very helpful during the campaign. Maureen, she was the one that sat with my mom at the park.
Yeah.
And it's very sad. Maureen, we're certainly going to miss her.
Oh,
And
sorry.
I'm showing a beautiful picture of her and my mom waving, holding my sign. Was able to
did
see
not
her
know
yesterday, or
that.
not yesterday, Saturday. Or no, it was yesterday, sorry. Was able to tell her all the shenanigans. I'm not sure if she could understand at the time, but, was able to tell her thank you for helping out.
Oh, she was such a great lady.
She was. She absolutely was.
Sweetheart.
So
I'll miss her.
she was a wonderful person, and she's definitely going to be missed. And I know that my mom and her were like super close. They were friends back in high school, and then they got disconnected, and they reconnected later on. And my mom is definitely. It was this morning that she passed away. But we saw her yesterday, and
I'm glad that you got to. I'm glad your mom got to see her.
Yeah, mom.
Yeah.
They were really good friends, and they were connecting afterwards was pretty. It was pretty awesome. So we lost a wonderful person yesterday or this morning.
For sure.
Yeah, but anyway. All right. Well. Want to say thank you, everybody, for watching the Berry Beat podcast live, streaming live on 802 Scoop right here in Inside Scoop Studio with Miss Raylene. Love ya.
Love ya.
Lovely Raylene. And with that, we'll say good night.